Hello, let's talk about the tapping techniques. I started to study psychology with an institute in Paris when I was 15 years old. Actually, I attended my first conference on psychology was on the Oedipus complex when I was 15. And then I went to talk with a presenter who took me under his wings and opened doors for me to study psychology with an institute in Paris and in Nyon in Switzerland and in Zurich. By the time it was done by correspondence and seminars. So I attended several seminars and I love to study how the mind works. I went into self-development. But it was not until 1998 when I attended a workshop on the tapping technique that I finally found a technique that could change my life around with the tip of my fingers very rapidly. So I've loved the tapping techniques. I've attended several seminars with the luminaries in that movement. It's now proven that the tapping does change the wiring in your brain. You think differently after you do a tapping session, and it's been amazing. So I want to come back to the trauma that we are experiencing, or some of us are experiencing, by reading the news. We have the Hurricane Helene, and then we had the one in Florida. Now we have the one in Paris. I forgot the name. We've had fire in Wyoming and on and on. And people are predicted riots. Also, there are already riots in several times. So reading all the news can affect us. And if it keeps affecting us, then our health will finally be affected too. So doing the tapping technique while you are watching the news on your television or on your computer, it's a great way to not be affected too much by what you hear or what you see. So let's start with one on grief and sadness. Again, let's start by tapping on the side of our hand. One hand or the other, doesn't matter. Even though I feel so sad for everyone affected by the storm, by the hurricane, by the fires, by the riots, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though the grief feels so heavy in my heart, I choose to honor these feelings and to release them. And then you tap between your eyebrows and say, this sadness feels overwhelming. Side of your eyes, it's heartbreaking to watch the destruction under your eyes. I can stop feeling this deep sadness. Under your nose, the grief is heavy on my heart. I feel so much loss and pain on your chin. I'm holding onto this grief under your arm. This sadness is filling my whole body. And on top of your head, I feel so much sadness and loss. Is that what you are feeling? I know I've been feeling that quite a bit. But then we can continue with something more positive. The eyebrows. I choose to release some of this sadness. I honor my grief, but I don't need to carry it forever. I can release the pain, even if it's just a little. I choose to find peace within myself. I'm sending love to the victims and healing for myself. I release the weight of grief. I'm finding comfort in this moment and allow myself to feel peace. And you can also take a deep breath in. And as I release it, you can hold your wrist and say peace or love. So that's one of the tapping that we did now for sadness and grief. Let's talk about the helplessness we may feel in some situation. And again, we're going to do the full sequence of tapping. Even though I feel helpless in some situation and I wish I could do more, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I've done all I can and it doesn't feel enough, I honor myself and my efforts. Let's do a round of tapping. I feel helpless in certain situation. There are things I cannot fix. I wish I could do more. It feels like my help is not enough. I'm frustrated with what I cannot change. I'm carrying this helplessness inside of me. I feel stuck and powerless in some areas. I'm holding on to this feeling of helplessness. And then let's reframe onto something a little more positive. I honor my efforts even when things are out of my control. I choose to release this helplessness. I trust that I've done my best. I'm letting go of what I cannot control. I release a need to fix everything. I send peace to the situation that I cannot change. I allow myself to feel peace. I choose to focus on what I can do and let go of the rest. Again, deep breath in and out, and hold your resting peace or love. Okay, now we're going to do a series of tapping on secondary trauma after hearing survivor's story. And again, you can do one hand or the other. Even though hearing these stories breaks my heart and overwhelms me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel traumatized by the suffering I've witnessed or heard, I honor these emotions and allow myself to release them. I feel so heavy after hearing their stories. Their pain feels overwhelming to me. It's hard to hear about the suffering. I feel deep sadness and fear. It's so overwhelming to witness this pain. I'm holding on to this sadness and trauma. Their story made me feel anxious and sad. I feel this trauma in my body. Then moving on to a reframing and a more positive way to do it, I honor my compassion and the feelings I have. I choose to release this trauma from my body. I can feel compassion without holding on to this heaviness. I release the sadness and anxiety I absorbed. I allow myself to let go of their pain. I choose to feel peace in my body again. I release the trauma and embrace calm. I'm finding peace while honoring their stories. Deep breath in, release, hold your rest, peace or love. So we'll continue with this series. We did a few tapping. Do it several times. Start by asking yourself on a level of 0 to 10, how do I feel about this situation? And as you do the tapping, the series, the number should come down. And if you have a few minutes, do it until you feel a release, a relief, and you are at the 0. And if it comes back a little bit, then do the tapping again. I'll see you next time.